Imagine taking your dog for a walk. The sun is low, the wind carries the faint smell of salt water from the sea, and the world seems calm. The dog darts into the scrub, disappearing for a moment in the thick brush. You wait, distracted, maybe scrolling your phone. But then the dog emerges, tail wagging, carrying something in its jaws. At first, it looks like a ball or maybe an old bone. But as it draws closer, your stomach twists. The shape isn't right. The color isn't right. And when you finally see it clearly, your breath catches in your throat. It's not a toy. It's not a bone. It's a human skull. That nightmare became reality in the quiet coastal town of Port Lincoln, South Australia, in September 2025. A dog stumbled upon human remains in the bush, setting off one of the most disturbing murder investigations in recent memory. Police rushed to the scene, cordoning off the area, combing through the undergrowth for more evidence. Within hours, they had a name. The remains belonged to a man who had been reported missing just days earlier. His name was Julian Story. Julian was 35, described by friends as easygoing, loyal, and hardworking. He was the kind of man who avoided the spotlight, content with his private life. But that private life had entangled him with someone who lived for attention. Someone who had once courted fame on national television. His girlfriend was Tamika Chesser, a woman whose name had been splashed across magazines, TV screens, and social media feeds. Once celebrated for her beauty and bold personality, she had become infamous for something far darker. Tamika Chesser was no stranger to the public eye. In 2010, she had risen to fame as the runner-up on Beauty and the Geek Australia. The show, built on the clash of personalities between self-proclaimed geeks and glamorous beauties, had catapulted her into the limelight. From there, she parlayed her fame into modeling, appearing in men's magazines like Playboy, Ralph, and FHM. Later, she turned to platforms like OnlyFans, maintaining her image of glamour, seduction, and confidence. To her followers, she seemed untouchable, a star who had crafted her own path. But fame can be deceiving. Behind the filters, behind the carefully staged photos, Tamika's life was chaotic. She battled with financial struggles, personal controversies, and unstable relationships. And at the center of her most turbulent chapter was her partner, Julian. The relationship between Tamika and Julian was no fairy tale. Friends described it as volatile, a whirlwind of passion, arguments, and jealousy. Neighbors often heard shouting late into the night, voices raised in anger that pierced the quiet of their Port Lincoln neighborhood. Some chalked it up to the drama of young love. Others whispered that something darker simmered beneath the surface. In June 2025, Julian disappeared. His absence was sudden and unexplained. He stopped answering calls, missed work, and cut off contact with friends and family.
Police began to dig. They discovered inconsistencies in her statements, gaps in her timeline, and troubling signs that Julian hadn't simply vanished. He had met with foul play. The missing person case quickly escalated into something far more sinister. 10 days later, the dog found the skull. The discovery confirmed everyone's worst fears. Julian was dead. But the condition of his remains shocked even seasoned investigators. His body had been dismembered, his head separated from his torso. For days, forensic teams combed the area, piecing together fragments of his remains. Even as they worked, one horrifying fact remained. The rest of his head had not been found. Attention turned squarely to Tamika. As police scrutinized her movements, they uncovered a chilling pattern. Her social media, once filled with glamour and self-promotion, continued almost as if nothing had happened. Posts appeared online even after Julian's disappearance, portraying a carefully curated version of her life, while, according to investigators, a gruesome crime had unfolded behind the scenes. Witnesses recalled arguments, strange noises, and suspicious activity around her home. Forensic evidence began to mount. Eventually, authorities arrested Tamika Rose Chesser and charged her with the murder of Julian Story. But it wasn't just murder. The charges included dismemberment and decapitation, a level of brutality that stunned the public. The news exploded across Australia, then rippled worldwide. Headlines screamed about the reality star murder case. For many, it was impossible to reconcile the glamorous model on magazine covers with the woman now accused of one of the most gruesome crimes in recent memory. Fans expressed disbelief, while others scoured her old interviews and posts for signs of darkness lurking beneath the surface. The fall from grace was complete. Yet even as the case unfolded, questions lingered. What exactly happened on the night Julian disappeared? What drove Tamika, a woman once adored by thousands, to such violence? Was it rage, jealousy, desperation, or something else entirely? Investigators have worked tirelessly to piece together the truth, but the exact sequence of events remains shrouded in uncertainty. For Julian's family, the nightmare is unbearable. The man they loved is gone, his final moments marked by violence and horror. The grisly nature of his death only deepens the pain. For them, justice is not just a trial or a verdict. It is about answers, closure, and the faint hope that someday the full truth will be known. For the public, the story is both shocking and morbidly captivating. Reality television has always thrived on drama, but this is no scripted feud, no manufactured scandal. This is blood, betrayal, and death. It is the collision of fame and darkness, where the line between celebrity and infamy vanishes in an instant. As Tamika awaits trial, the media circus grows. Every detail is dissected: her past, her relationships, her rise to fame, and her collapse into notoriety. Some argue that fame itself played a role, that the constant pressure to perform, to remain relevant, can twist reality until it breaks. Others see it simply as a case of human brutality. Fame or no fame, a man is dead and a woman stands accused. What makes this story so haunting is the contrast, the glitter of fame against the brutality of murder, the public persona against the private reality. Tamika Chesser once walked red carpets and posed for cameras. Now she walks into courtrooms and sits behind bars. She once dreamed of adoration. Now she faces condemnation. And at the heart of it all is Julian Story, a man whose life ended in a way too gruesome for fiction, a man who deserved better than to be remembered only for the manner of his death. The trial will determine Tamika's fate. If convicted, she could spend the rest of her life in prison. But no sentence can erase the horror of what has happened. No verdict can bring Julian back. And no amount of media coverage can soften the brutal truth that sometimes the people we idolize are not who they seem, that sometimes the ones we least suspect are capable of the darkest acts imaginable. So the story lingers, haunting, unsettling, unforgettable. A missing man, a reality star accused of murder, a dog carrying a skull from the shadows of the bush. It is a tale that grips us, not only because of its brutality, but because of its humanity. The fragility of trust, the danger of appearances, and the shocking reminder that beneath the surface of ordinary lives, extraordinary darkness can hide. And as the trial looms, one question remains. What really happened behind closed doors between Tamika Chesser and Julian Story on the night everything changed?
Until the full truth emerges, this case will remain etched in the collective memory. A true crime story, almost too chilling to believe.